Good morning. We are just going to start the licensing subcommittee this morning for the Crown and Pipes application with an election of the chair. Do I have a nomination for an election of chair?
Yes, I'd like to nominate Councillor Wells.
And does that? Yes, that's fine. Thank you very much. So, Councillor Wells, if you would like to proceed, thank you.
Thank you, Becky, and good morning, everyone. The first item is members' interest. Do members have any interest that they wish to declare this morning? No, thank you. So welcome all to the meeting this morning. I'm Councillor Wells, Chair of this licensing subcommittee hearing. Before we start, I'd like to remind you of a few housekeeping arrangements. If you wish to speak, please can you indicate that you wish to do so? When speaking, if you press the central button on your microphone, it should light up green and you'll get a red light at the top of the button. When you're finished speaking, press the central button again and the green will turn off. Thank you. In the event of a fire alarm sounding during the meeting, please stand and follow the meeting administrator to the fire evacuation point outside the building. This meeting is being filmed on the Council's YouTube channel for live and subsequent broadcast. The whole of the meeting will be filmed except where there are confidential or exempt items. Thank you. So in the room with me here this morning at Pathfinder House, we have the following. Councillor Costello and Councillor Criswell, members of the subcommittee. Kyle Rogers, the Council's legal officer, advisor, and Democratic Services to my right. I will now ask officers from the licensing team to introduce themselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Sorry, small technical difficulty. My name's William Della Refuge. I'm a licensing officer acting on behalf of the licensing authority today. For clarity, to my left is my colleague Hayden. He is shadowing today. He will not be partaking in this hearing. He's just here to observe what we do as a licensing team. Thank you.
Thank you, William. Will those now representing the applicant please now introduce themselves? Please state your name and in what capacity you're here to represent the applicant. Thank you.
I'm Neil Humphreys. I'm the director of the Fenstanton Pub Company, as is my wife, Caroline.
Thank you. I will now ask interested parties to introduce themselves. Please state your name and who you're representing. Please indicate if you intend to address the subcommittee this morning. Thank you, gentlemen.
There we go. Hi. My name's Mickey Pallett. I'm a resident of Fenstanton and I'm here to support the application. And I would like to give him the opportunity of a short talk. Thank you.
And to your left.
Hello, I'm Steve Watchman. I'm here to support the application for the licence. I don't intend to talk today. Thank you.
Thank you both. Is there anybody else that I haven't covered this morning? I don't think so. No, thank you. Item 4, this is the licensing subcommittee procedure. You would have received within the hearing papers that were circulated to you a copy of the licensing subcommittee procedure. The hearing will commence under this procedure. Any representations that have been made should be relevant to the 4 licensing objectives, and these are the prevention of crime and disorder, public safety, the prevention of public nuisance, and the protection of children from harm. As you will see, in the interest of fairness, the procedure provides for an equal amount of time for the applicant and responsible authorities and interested parties to address the subcommittee. This is usually 20 minutes maximum, which in the case of interested parties is shared between those in attendance. I think you've just established that only one of you is going to speak, so that should be fine. I can use my discretion on that. On this occasion, I'll allocate all parties, the applicant, responsible authorities and the interested parties 20 minutes each. In fact, we don't have any responsible authorities here today, so that doesn't apply. Do any parties present have any questions or clarification needed at this stage? This should just relate to the procedure only. Is it all clear to you? Yeah, thank you. Item 5, the hearing. I will now invite the licensing officer to present the application. Thank you, William.
Thank you, Chair. Huntingdonshire District Council, as a licensing authority, has received an application to grant a premises licence from the Fen Stanton Pubco Limited for the premises The Crown and Pipes, 14 High Street, Fen Stanton, PE 28 9LQ. Just for full clarity, there is a typo in this report that states it's an application to vary a premises licence. However, I can confirm that it is a new application to grant a premises licence. This application was received on the 17th of September 2025. As required under the Licensing Act 2003, notice of the application was advertised by blue notices displayed at or near the premises from the 18th of September and in the local newspaper on the 25th of September. The 28-day consultation period ended on the 15th of October, and you will find a copy of the application as Appendix A and a copy of the plan in support of the application as Appendix B. The application is applying to permit the following licensable activities: the provision of live music, both indoors and outdoors, Sunday and Monday, 1,200 hours to 2,200 hours, Friday, 1,200 hours to 2,230 hours, and Saturday, 1,200 to 2,300 hours. The provision of recorded music, indoors and outdoors, Monday to Saturday, 1,200 hours to 2,300 hours, and Sunday, 1,200 hours to 2,200 hours. The provision of late night refreshment, and it's not specified on the application as whether that's on or off of the premises, and that's for Friday and Saturdays, 2,300 hours to 2,359 hours. There's also an application for the sale by retail of alcohol for consumption on the premises, Sunday to Thursday, 1,200 hours to 2,300 hours, and Friday and Saturdays, 1,200 hours to 2,359 hours. The opening hours listed are Sunday to Thursday, 1,200 hours to 2,300 hours, and Friday and Saturday, 1,200 hours to 2,359 hours. Section 16 of this application form addresses the 4 licensing objectives. Any proposals made in this section are normally translated directly into enforceable conditions that will be attached to the premises license. As part of the consultation, the responsible authorities as determined under the Licensing Act 2003 were consulted upon. Their responses can be seen in summary at Appendix C. During the period for representation, a total of 36 valid representations were received from other persons. There were 12 in objection to the application and 24 in support of the application. The representations and any subsequent correspondence are attached as Appendix D. A person who has submitted a relevant representation is entitled to address the licensing subcommittee at the hearing and ask any questions of any other parties appearing at the hearing. Not all matters raised within the representation may be relevant matters for consideration under the Licensing Act 2003. On this occasion, due to the number of representations, mediation was not possible. So today, the licensing authority must carry out its functions under the Act with a view to promoting the licensing objectives, with each objective having equal importance. These objectives are the prevention of crime and disorder, public safety, the prevention of public nuisance, and the protection of children from harm. The subcommittee must also have regard to its statement of licensing policy, any statutory guidance issued under Section 182 of the Licensing Act 2003, the Human Rights Act 1988, and the Live Music Act 2012. The Council must also fulfil its obligations under Section 17 of the Crime and Disorder Act 1998, and that is to do all that it can reasonably do to prevent crime and disorder in its district. In making a decision, this application must be determined on its individual merits, having regard to the representations and supporting documents included as part of the report, along with any additional information considered relevant at this hearing. As part of the decision process, the subcommittee is required to give its reasons for any decision arrived at. Where the licensing authority considers that action under its statutory powers is appropriate, it may take any of the following steps: grant the application as applied for, refuse the application, add any additional conditions to the premises license, exclude any licensable activities applied for, or amend dates and times of licensable activities applied for. Any decision made by the subcommittee must be reasonable and proportionate and promote the licensing objectives. Thank you very much.
Thank you, William. Do any members of the subcommittee have any questions for the licensing officer? No questions? Thank you. Does the applicant have any questions for the licensing officer this morning? No questions. And does the interested party, Mr. Powell, do you have any questions for the licensing officer? No questions. Thank you. So I'll now ask the applicant to address the subcommittee for no more than 20 minutes and to call any witnesses if relevant. Thank you.
I haven't got a lot to say really, other than my wife and I we're experienced publicans. We've run pubs for 12 years. The Poacher in Ellsworth for 5 years, and the White Swan in Connington for 7 years. In that time, we like to think we've run well-managed premises. We've never had an issue with noise. We've never had an issue where the police have had to attend, or the fire service, or anyone. We're wholly committed to all the objectives. That's the only way to do it as far as we're concerned, and we absolutely enforce all the rules. And we like to think we're proactive. If we even think anything's going to turn bad, we address it before it even gets anywhere near. So we're a bit disappointed with the objections, but people have got a right, so that's fine. But we may have over applied for the music licence. On the application, it would appear that we'll be having music every single second, but it's absolutely not like that at all. We probably won't even have 6 a year, I wouldn't think. I'll have to admit I've probably misunderstood the application process, but if that needs to be withdrawn, then that's fine. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do any members of the subcommittee have any questions for the applicant? Councillor Costello.
Oh, am I on? I just wondered, in the application, you put down live music for a Sunday and Monday evening. I can understand the weekend because you've got Friday and Saturday evenings. I just wondered the Monday evening, which is a...
Well, it'd be an afternoon, a bank holiday.
Ah, for the bank holiday.
If the weather's nice.
Right.
We would perhaps have some music in the garden.
Right,
But it
okay.
would only be bank holiday. How many nice bank holidays could we get?
Not many. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other questions, councillors? Okay. One from myself. You mentioned, I think it was an allusion to concerns about CCTV, which we'd expect you to install in the premises. Yeah. Have you concerns around that? You mentioned cost of that might be a concern.
That was, I've got a friend who's in that area of industry, and he's assured me that nowadays modern CCTV isn't as horrendously expensive as I thought it was. So I haven't got any issues with that. We will be.
Thank you. Yeah, we would want that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Presumably you used CCTV in previous premises that you mentioned.
No.
That was probably before it came
Yeah.
into force as normal practice. Yeah.
Well, both those premises we were tenants. This is the first one where we've been owners, so there's a few new points that we've...
Thanks. Yes, that's
get
useful
the grip with.
information for us to know. Thank you. Yeah. So, do any officers present, that's the licensing officer, have any questions for the applicant? No questions? Thank you. Mr. Pallett, do you have any questions for the applicant? No questions. Thank you. So I'll now invite the interested parties, that's Mr. Pallant, to address the subcommittee for no more than 20 minutes in total. May I remind you that representations must be relevant to the 4 licensing objectives that we mentioned previously. Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Pallant.
Thank you. Perhaps just precede what I wrote in when I heard you were looking for comments on the application. I'm writing to support the application of the licence to the Crown and Pipes. In recent times, the village, as you know, has lost several pubs, and there's only one, the Duchess, which is, while they're doing a good job, I think the Crown and Pipes would allow different sort of clientele, if you like, to the advantage of the whole of Fenstanton. I understand the objections about noise. Perhaps that can be addressed with compromises, things like curfew times, and as I think you've already mentioned, it's going to be quite limited to the number of days. I saw sorry, the second issue mainly seems to be about parking. Well, car parking is a problem down in that area of town, with the butchers, the Duchess, the convenience store and the Crown and Pipes all in one small area, very little parking. But it's always been like that. So I don't think this will be a new killer issue to that problem. I feel most people live within striking distance of the Crown and Pipes anyway, and will be quite happy to walk there. Finally, as I used to be the editor of our local parish magazine called Spectrum, it's now called Journal, and what my time while editing that, I did feel that the feeling of the village was a very vibrant one, and there's a lot going off, and we want it to remain that way. I did see a objection that it would upset the tranquil nature of the village, but I think that's probably overstated. We could have a tranquil village with no public facilities. I guess that's a bit extreme, but I don't think the opening of the Crown and Pipes would compromise the overall feel of the village. Okay, so on that point, I would support the Neil and Caroline. They've shown they're responsible people and they're used to the business, well aware of problems involved, and I'm sure they will do a good job. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ballard. Do many members of the subcommittee have any questions for Mr. Ballard? No questions. Do any officers present have any questions for Mr. Ballard? No questions. Okay. Does the applicant have any questions for Mr. Ballard? No questions. Okay. Right, and the gentleman to your left, you're not going to speak this morning, is that right? You're just listening, yeah, that's fine. Okay, thank you. Right, that brings us to section E, and that's just your opportunity to Mr. Humphreys to sum up the application for 5 minutes maximum, just to sort of conclude the premises proceeds this morning in public session. So please carry on. Thank you.
We're basically we bought the pub because it just looked like it was going to be another development opportunity for people. We hadn't retired for 2 years, and we thought, you know, the village is probably doubled in size in the last 5 years. It's had up to 6 pubs at some stage, maybe even more. We're down to 1. To lose another one, I just thought was horrendous for a village of that size. So that's why we sort of come out of retirement, and we would, as Mr. Pallett says, I think there's enough support in the village for it. There's certainly, I don't know how much credence you pay with social media. I tend not to, but there's a huge amount of support on social media for it. So, and everyone who's come by, we've been doing the garden, we've been painting and smartening it up. We haven't had a single objection, not to our faces, obviously. I know that's very easy, but so we're quite comfortable that it will be good for the village and hopefully a successful business for us.
Thank you very much. Excuse me. So before we move on to item 6, which is the exclusion of the press and the public, the subcommittee will now retire to deliberate. The council's legal advisor will provide legal advice and to record the subcommittee's decision. We're not sure how long deliberations will take. Our decision will be sent out to everybody in writing as soon as possible. If you do want to wait around, you're welcome to do so. The choice is yours. It might take a little while, however. All parties do have a right to appeal to the Magistrates' Court within 21 days of the decision. Kyle, is there anything you want to add to that? Yeah. Thank you. That leaves me to thank you all for your attendance this morning. We will now move on to item 6, exclusion of the press and the public. Members, are you happy to exclude the press and public this morning? Thank you. That's done. Please terminate the live stream. Thank you.